Hey guys, welcome back to the Masochist challenge part 2. And if you still remember, these are the cards we ended up with at the end of the last part. First up, we have Ho-Oh. This Pokemon can deal 200 damage if we have a Terra Pokemon on the bench, which we actually do with Masochist EX now. So this could potentially replace Enamos as one of our main attackers. We also added some new cards to the deck, like this Rotom. It has an interesting ability and it can deal some damage, but honestly, I wouldn't rely on it too much. And yes, the cards are still in German for now. Part 3 will fix that, I promise. Now let's move on to another interesting card, Buffaland. This is a strong Pokemon with a very solid counter ability. Its first attack doesn't deal much damage, but if your opponent attacks into it, they'll take extra damage in return. Its second attack is an all-out attack that might come in handy. Otherwise, we are still running mostly the same card as in part 1, just with one extra copy of Level added. Oh right, I almost forgot, we didn't really talk about Abra in the first part. Abra is in the deck because it actually works as a great floater. Since we don't run any switch cards, we can start with Abra and safely shovel it back into the deck using its ability, letting us bring something else into play instead. And we also have additional attackers like Mewtwo and Enamos. Nothing too special here, but we are heavily relying on raw damage output. Now, we finally get to our first and strongest ace card, Masochist EX. This is arguably one of the best cards for this challenge. It's a basic Pokemon, it can attack the bench and it deals solid damage. But its strongest attack not only hits for 180 damage, it also gives us draw power. So basically, it brings everything we need for this challenge. Alright, that was it for our Pokemon cards. Now let's move on to the trainer cards. Let's start with Ciano. I actually don't know his English name, sorry. Ciano works as a search card, and since we are running 2 EX Pokemon, this helps us find them more consistently. Not bad. But you know which card is kinda bad? Yeah, Jasmine. But we still don't really have anything better, so she stays in the deck. We also got Yo. I believe his English name is Kyrian. This card is basically our only way to switch Pokemon and deal some extra damage, so in our case, it's actually pretty important. But now let's talk about our best trainer card so far, Drayton. Drayton let us look at the top 7 cards of our deck, and we can grab a Pokemon and a trainer card. If we get lucky, this can easily find the 2 cards we need the most. We are still keeping our troll card Lucian. I mean, he's basically our only real draw support, so we kind of have to. Overall, the rest of the deck is mostly unchanged and the energy lineup is also still the same, just slightly optimized for our new ace card. Alright, I guess that's it. Let's jump straight into the first round. Here we go. Finally, we get to show what our new cards can do. And if this isn't a good sign, we actually get to go first. That's really important for our deck. Alright, our opening hand is actually decent. We do have Flamigo EX, but I think we are better off starting with Ogerpon instead. We also have Dust Ball, and if things get really bad, even Lucian as a backup option. Okay, interesting. Not a Charizard EX deck this time. That's actually a nice change after the last part. I think we just play Dust Ball and see what we can get. But do I even have in hand? We could take Yamas or start setting up Frostlass. But I think we go with Yamas, since it actually helped us win the last part. Maybe it can do it again, but first we need to set up properly. We attach our energy to Ogerpon, and if we can get Cofagrigus online quickly, their Frostlass could be in serious trouble. The opponent takes their turn. He plays an energy and also a stadium card. Oh, so now all non-water Pokemon take damage. Alright, that's fun. With Nestball, he also grabbed a Qianpao. Nice gold card, by the way. Of course, he switched into it, and now we have to deal with the Qianpao. This could get tricky, but at least aside from searching energy from the deck, it doesn't do much right now. Back to our turn, I draw Abra and place it onto the bench. We also bench Flamigo EX. Why? Because it's time to bring out Lucian. Alright Lucian, have us out here. Be a friend. Tails. Of course. And what does the opponent get? Heads. Of course. Lucian, you done it again. But maybe with a lot of imagination, he draw into 6 bad cards. We bench Evelyn and use Ogerpon's attack to search for energy cards. And that's it for our turn. Yeah. To be honest, things are not looking great for us right now. The real question now is, what is the opponent going to throw at us next turn? He is already evolving into Frostless, so we definitely need to be more careful with our Pokemon choices. The opponent keeps setting up and Iono? That could actually help us. We have already won a game of this before. Okay, our hand is looking a bit better now. Sure, we lost the Psychic energy, but we did draw 2 new energy cards. And we can actually use Ogerpon to get those Psychic energy back to us. The only question is, should I attach the Grass energy to Ogerpon so we can use the second attack? It's our turn again. Let's see if Dustball can save us. Oh yes, Flapple. That could actually work. Yeah, that's exactly what we needed. We immediately evolve Abilene into Flapple and attach an energy to it as well. Oh, I probably should have given the energy to Ogerpon first. That was not the best decision I made there. Alright, mistake made. We'll have to work with it now. And one thing, we need to be careful about Abra. If we are not careful, we might end up losing a prize card because of it. The opponent attached their second energy to Xianpao. Yeah, and now they play a trainer card to search for another Pokemon. And that also puts Abra in serious danger. Yikes. We take the hit from Xianpao and lose not just 1 prize card, but 2. Flapple still doesn't deal quite enough damage on its own, so we are forced to stall for now. And that's where Cofagrigus comes in. I have to admit, I have made quite a few mistakes this game already. But maybe, just maybe, we can still bring this back? Let's stay optimistic, right? Alright, who am I kidding? That was played terribly. At this point, we are going to need a miracle to turn this game around. But we are running out of time. It's our turn. Sizeless EX? Okay. Now that's a good draw. But can we power it up in time? Considering how I've been attaching my energy this game, probably not. Seriously, what was I thinking that day? At least Xianpao is still taking damage from its own Frostless. So there's that. The opponent attached a tool card to Xianpao, and honestly it might not even matter anymore. But the number of cards he has in his hand is definitely making me nervous. He couldn't attack? Wait, that means we get another turn. That's huge. It gives us one more chance to buy time for Flapple. Please, Joero, attach the energy correctly this time. Thank you. We still can't do much beyond that, but at least Sizeless is finally starting to come together. The turn goes back to our opponent. With a second energy in play, he can knock out our Cofagrigus now. But honestly, that's fine. By now, we have managed to stack enough damage onto Xianpao, and that might finally give us a way back into this game. Goodbye, Cofagrigus. You did your job. Now it's time for your replacement. Say hello to Flapple. At this point, Xianpao has taken even more damage. And honestly, it's starting to look like a pretty tasty target for our Flapple. But before we go all in, we still need to keep building our board. And that stadium card is starting to get really annoying. We even have a card that can give Sizeless a little bit of healing. But enough setup, it's time to strike. Let's go, Flapple. Hit him hard. And with that, we take 2 prize cards. Not bad at all. But there's one problem. Flapple is more of a revenge attacker than a real win condition. So if we want any chances of winning this game, we need to get our strongest card into play as soon as possible. The turn goes back to the opponent, and wow, it looks like he's finally setting up his main support engine. He plays a trainer card and throws away his entire hand. For what? Green Ninja? Okay. So he was still holding an ace up his sleeve, and suddenly Flapple has a serious problem. The Pokemon version of Naruto might just end up this game right here. He makes quick work of our Flapple, sorry buddy. But now it's finally time to answer back with our own ace. Let's go, Sizeless EX. We attach the final energy we need, and somehow, despite all the mistakes we have made this game, we actually managed to get our ace online. But there's still a problem. Because of that stadium card, Sizeless probably isn't surviving the next turn. So that's it. But we are not going down without a fight. We attack and accept the defeat that I probably brought upon myself. Like a man. But this game also showed us what Sizeless EX is capable of. Thanks to its attack, we were able to draw a good amount of cards and keep our options open. If we can find a way to set up faster and more consistently, this card could easily become one of the strongest pieces in our deck. So despite the loss, there's definitely something we can learn from this match. Don't worry guys, the next game will be better. Focus up, Joriro. Alright, next match. And we get to go first again. That's nice. But what are we up against this time? The only question now is, who do I want to start with? Snorunt or Yamas? I guess we start with Snorunt. We also got a healthy amount of energy in hand, which is always nice to see. But first, let's figure out what the opponent is playing. Oh, Charizard. Totally didn't expect that one. Who gets the first energy? Yamas? No. Snorunt? Yes. No. Yes. Alright, it's Yamas. Yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Let's see what the opponent has to offer. Hopefully, no Pepper. And it's Pepper. Of course. He is definitely going for the rare candy. And, yep, there it is. So maybe we are looking at Charizard next turn already? But that's pretty much all he can do. We draw Inamoros for turn, we put it onto the bench, then we play Ciano and grab our 2 EX Pokemon. Although, let's be honest, we're probably only setting up one of them, so let's focus on Sizeless EX. We attach an energy to it and pass the turn over. So back to the opponent, another Pepper, alright, let me guess, Ultra Ball this time, huh? Another rare candy? Okay, that's actually a little strange. With Body Puffin, he fills up his bench with 2 more Pokemon, but for some reason he doesn't grab Pidgey. That's wild. He even attached a tool card to Charmander, and that's it? Honestly, I'll take that. The longer he waits, the more time we get to set up. We attach the Fire Energy to Sizeless, and now we only need a Psychic Energy before we are ready to go. Unfortunately, the rest of our hand isn't doing much right now. That means the opponent can proceed with his turn. So, are we finally getting Charizard? Yes? No? Apparently not. Well, that's sadly one way to play 2 Peppers, but who am I to judge? I have made enough mistakes myself, and hopefully not in this game. Actually, I already did. Remember that energy attachment in the beginning? If I had attached it to Snorunt, we could be attacking right now, so yeah, not exactly my finest moment once again. Meanwhile, the opening is sitting there with 10 cards in hand, so nothing again? We draw Lucian. Oh no, you again. Do I really want to play this card? Honestly, I don't know what else to do. Even drawing 3 cards would be better than what we are working with right now. And even if the opponent draws 6, well, 6 is still better than 10. So alright Lucian, that's your chance. Redeem yourself for once. Another Tails. Why am I not surprised? Let me guess, the opponent gets 6 cards? Wait, what? Only 3? Hold on, you actually helped. You cut his hand down quite a bit. I never thought I'd say this, but thank you, Lucian. Alright guys, I think my opponent was either incredibly unlucky or I don't know. But one thing is for sure, thanks to Lucian, both of those Peppers ended up going absolutely nowhere. While he's busy searching for a couple more Pokemon, I want to take a quick moment to mention something. You probably noticed that the audio had changed a few times throughout the video. I've been experimenting with different settings and I think I'm finally starting to find something that I like. At least, I hope so. But feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. Really, I do. Anyway, back to the match. I also started noticing something strange. He still hadn't played the Pidgey. Wait, hold on. He had the Pidgey this entire time? And he's only playing it now? Okay, I'm speechless. Meanwhile, Sizeless is basically ready to go. All we are missing is a way to switch into it. And for the last few turns, neither of us has really been able to get much going. It almost feels like we are both waiting for something to happen. And just like that, it's our turn again. At this point, I'm honestly starting to wonder if he wanted to give us a head start, because I have no idea what's going on over there. And now things could finally start start moving. We draw Kavagrigus, and of course we evolve our Yamas right away. Not a huge play, but at least we are making some progress. There's not much else we can do here, so we pass the turn back. And now, he should finally be able to do something, right? Seriously though, surely this is the turn. You should had Charizard EX on the field ages ago. I'm the one playing the budget disaster deck over here. Oh, and Iono, now that could be interesting. This might help both of us. Yes, we found the energy. That's exactly what we needed. Alright, now we can finally get started. Alright, if he still doesn't get Charizard out this turn, we are finally ahead of the game. Ultra Ball gets played. Now it comes down to this. Will he get back into the game before us or not? He throws away a Buddy Puffin and Super Rod for Chameleon. Okay, perfect. He plays a second Ultra Ball, trying to finally get the Charizard into his hand, but it's too late. And that means his only card left in hand is basically nothing. Now it's our turn and we can finally start pushing. We attach an energy to Snorunt and also play Deduction Kit. Our top 3 cards reveal the Psychic energy on top of the deck. Exactly what we still need for Size Lizard. Quickly sorting the deck, I almost mess up the order there. But we make sure it stays on top for the next turn. And it's time! We've already seen it once, but let's welcome it back again. Our Size Lizard EX. I hope you liked the little animation there, but now it's time to strike. We knock out his Chameleon and also his Cleffa, so he doesn't get those extra 6 cards. That's not just Charizard slowed down, that's his entire Drop Engine shut off. We are live, guys. Of course anything can still happen, but as long as he doesn't find rare candy, Size Lizard can slowly start clearing his spot out. And now the pressure has actually flipped. For once, we are not the ones struggling. He plays Super Rod. Honestly, I'm not sure that was the best idea. It lowers his chance of finding rare candy again. And don't forget, he already used key cards like Iono and Pepper earlier, so things are looking rough for him. But we are back and we draw our pre-sorted Psychic energy. Of course you want to attach it to Size Lizard. Our Dobi? Joero? Come on, just attach it to Size Lizard. What?
No.
Are you serious? Alright, you know what? It's fine. We only need the first attack anyway. So instead, we swing into his board and deal 30 damage to Pidgey and also take out another Charmander line piece. One more prize card for us. But honestly, I don't even know who's playing worse at this point. Me or the opponent. You can decide that one. Anyway, it's his turn again and he just ends it. That means we are back up. We draw. Dust Ball is nice, but honestly not even necessary anymore. Still, I play it anyway for some reason. And this time, we take 2 prize cards. Let's go, Size Lizard. Take them out. Perfect. And another Psychic energy. Oh boy, I'm starting to wonder how I'm going to play that one next turn. The opponent drops. Oh, Pepper again. That could be in a comeback moment now. Wait. No rare candy? Are you serious? Yeah, that's it. Game over. After he finally managed to get the second Charizard line piece online, it's already too late. And I mean that literally. We are up. Joero. Just attach the energy however you want. At this point, it doesn't even matter anymore. We go full power. Let's go. Run and over. Yes, we finally win. Despite the mistakes on both sides, our bad plays weren't as impactful as his, so that seals the win for us. We level up and we get to open 2 booster packs to upgrade the deck. Today's pack choices are Stellar Grown and Surging Sparks. Although in the future, I think I want you guys to decide the winning packs. Let me know if you like that idea. Oh, and from now on, we are also adding an MVP card each game. The card that in my opinion made the biggest impact on the win. I also try not to give the MVP award to the same cards every time. Sometimes a card deserves recognition even if it wasn't the one that landed the final blow. If it helped us secure the win, it should get some credit too. Anyway, time to crack open our revealed packs. The first card we pull is Comfey. And honestly, that's going straight onto the deck. We also pull an Eve, which isn't bad either, but right behind it, another Comfey. Still, it's a pretty interesting draw support card, but we'll talk more about that later. We actually pulled quite a few interesting cards here, and hold on, what did I just spot? An ace pack? Could this change now the challenge? The ace pack we pulled is Tree of Vitality, a very powerful card, but unfortunately completely useful for us right now. We don't play any stage 2 Pokémons, and in some situation it could even help the opponent more than us. The final card from the pack is Iron Boulder. Now that's interesting. It could actually work really well alongside Comfey. So into the deck it goes. And that's pack 1 done. But maybe pack 2 has something even better waiting for us. The first 2 cards from Searching Sparks aren't useful for our deck. But wait a second. Uranguru? That might actually be worth considering. Its attack fits surprisingly well with our current deck setup. I need to think about that one a little more. Besides that, we pull a couple more cards that could potentially be useful. And then a Stadium card. Now we are talking! It gives our basic Pokémon a small HP boost. The next few cards aren't really what we are looking for, but what is that? But for a brief moment, I thought we had just pulled the biggest game changer imaginable. But no, it's Latios. And honestly, I love this artwork. So much in fact, that we're going to include it just for that reason alone. The final card behind Latios isn't anything we need, but overall, these were some really strong pulls. So those are our new additions. But wait, we are not done yet. It's time for a bonus pack! Yeah, that was actually our third win in the challenge. And that means we earned one more booster pack. Today's choices are Obsidian Flames and Paradox Rift. But we are leaving this one up to a coin flip. If heads, we open Obsidian Flames. If it's tails, we go with Paradox Rift. Sounds simple enough. Let's do it. We got heads. And with that, the decision is made. Obsidian Flames, you're up. So then, what do you have for us? As we start going through the cards, I'm not gonna lie, nothing is really standing out. Maybe some of these become useful later on in the challenge, but right now, I am not seeing it. We did pull an evolution Pokemon we could technically use, but honestly, I just don't think it's good enough. And the same goes for the final card. Unfortunately, there's one small problem. According to the challenge rules, we must take one card from every pack, whether it's useful or not. So let's take another good look. Which of these cards hurts the deck the least? Do I take the evolution Pokemon? Wait a second. What's this? Sinesti? You know what? Sinesti isn't actually that bad. So Sinesti joins the deck. It's not exactly a game changer, but compared to everything else in this pack, I think it wins by default. And honestly, this pack teaches a pretty important lesson. Not every booster makes your deck stronger. Sometimes a pack barely helps at all. And sometimes it can actually make your deck a little worse. Those are all of our newly earned cards. And with that, let's get to work. Welcome to the Deck Werkstatt. Yeah, I'm keeping the German name, but just so you know, for you guys, this is basically the deck lab. Before we talk about the new cards, let's go over the rules real quick. The most important rule here is simple. After every win, we are allowed to come back to the Deck Werkstatt and improve our deck once. Meaning, in short, everything we add or remove right now is final until the next victory. No further changes in between. So if we make a bad decision, we are stuck with it until we win again. Alright, let's go into the new additions. And this time we are starting with trainer cards. First up, we have Lively Stadium. And like I mentioned before, this one actually fits our deck pretty well. We are running a lot of basic Pokémons, so giving them a bit more bulk can go a long way. 30 extra HP doesn't sound like much, but in our current setup, every bit of survivability matters, especially for Pokémon like Buffalon and Cyclizar. This card definitely has Wailord. Next up, Latios. Honestly, what a beautiful card. I still love this artwork. Latios can snipe the opponent's bench for 50 damage with its first attack, and its second attack deals a decent amount of damage for free energy. Not amazing, but still good enough to earn a spot in the deck. Moving on to Comfey. Now I already said we come back to this one. And here's why. It let us draw 3 cards, but the downside is pretty huge. The opponent also gets to draw 3 cards. And in most cases you never want to give your opponent free resources. But here's where it gets interesting. We also added Iron Boulder. This card can deal 170 damage for just 2 energy, but only if both players have the same number of cards in hand. So suddenly, Comfy isn't just a downside anymore. It might actually be a part of a strategy. We'll have to see if we can make that work. Next up is Sinisty, and honestly I still prefer German name, Fatality, but we stick with the English card names for consistency. Sinisty only needs 1 energy. Paralyze is extremely strong in the Pokémon TCG. If the opponent is paralyzed, they can't attack our retreat, basically giving us a free turn, kind of like our Swablu setup card. It buys us the time when we need it most, even if the HP is definitely on the low side. And that's it for the new cards, everything else stays the same, especially our trainer lineup. We are still running some questionable item cards and energy stays unchanged as well. So the decisions are made, the deck is locked in, and it's time to get back into battle. Here we go! I'm so ready for this one, and hopefully our deck is too, because this time I'd really like to get some value out of all those new cards we just added. And once again we get to go first. At this point we actually been pretty lucky with that. Getting the first turn this many times in a row is definitely not the norm. Unfortunately our opening hand is a different story. Well, no point complaining now, at least we can evolve Snorunt into Frostless next turn. Our opponent is playing Teal'c EX, and that Pokemon can get rolling surprisingly fast. Still, if we can get Yamas into Coppergrigus and combine that with Frostless, we might actually have a chance here. There's one problem though, he already has a second Ogapon in play, that means even more draw power. And as for us, well, we don't exactly have anything to drop. So realistically, I don't think we're getting Coppergrigus on the field in time, which means Yamas is probably getting sacrificed here. The goal now is simply to keep Frostless alive long enough to stack damage every turn. And yet, that's exactly what I was afraid of. He didn't just finish setting up one Ogapon, he also found the perfect item card to start powering up the rest of them and dropping even more cards in the process. Well, there goes Yamas. At least there's one thing working in our favor. All of these Pokemon have abilities, and thanks to Frostless, that means every single one of them is taking damage at the end of each turn. But if we don't find something useful soon, this game is over. We play Jasmine, reducing incoming damage by 20, but let's be honest, that barely changed anything. All we need is a little more time, just one more turn and... Oh no, boss's orders. Yep, that's it. Our only win condition is gone. And with it, so is the game. We draw Dust Ball. I mean, I could still play it, but honestly, this game is already over. And at this point, the only thing left to say is GG, next match. One lose, one stubborn. We keep going. Things can only get better from here. Right? Yeah. So, against what are we playing this time? We are going first again. Honestly, I'm running out of words at this point. I'm thinking about starting with Abra or Tatsugiri, but I'm going with Tatsugiri. Maybe we can pull a supporter card out of it. Even if our supporter lineup isn't exactly amazing. We play Dustball and we actually hit our ace card early. Sizeless EX. Now the real question is, can we get it online fast enough to win this? Unfortunately, there's already a build app on the board, so our item cards are basically locked down. Luckily for us, Dustball is pretty much the only important one anyway. And I have to say, all these shiny cards, they're actually from that controversial Prismatic set. Not that I'm jealous. Okay, I'm a little jealous. Back to the game, our opponent is setting up perfectly. Everything is falling into place for him. Oh, and can I mention that Hilda's card looks really well designed here? But that doesn't change the fact that we are once again in a terrible position. And of course, there's a Latias EX as well, because why wouldn't there be? He got everything they needed, and we got a Sizeless EX that isn't even close to being ready. We use Ciano here and draw into Flamigo EX, just to thin the deck a bit. Tatsugiri's ability gives us a shot, and we hit Drayton. Okay, that's actually our best supporter right now, but even that only helps so much. Our opponent keeps building up, and now he even got the extra Ultra Ball, which pretty much guarantees Draglock. Yep, that is. And now things get worse. Iono comes down, hand gets reduced, and our win condition gets even thinner. So he uses Pokemon to evolve, and thanks to that he can use the ability, and our Abra is gone. At least we get the prize card out of it, but it doesn't change much. We do have enough energy to set up Sizeless if we can survive long long enough, that is. But honestly, I'm not confident. We try to stall, fill the bench, buy time, but against a Dragapult deck, that might not be enough. And with Tatsugiri, we do miss Drayton this time. Of course. Meanwhile, the opponent is fully online now. Dragapult DX is ready, Latias EX for switching, Fisandibity for draw, Monkey Dory for damage control. Everything is covered. And us, yeah, just Size Lizard EX. Sorry, buddy. I like you, but I don't think this deck survives the Elden Ring boss fight. Honestly, guys, I have no idea what we are supposed to do here. Oh, and now there's the Stadium card too. The one that completely shuts down tool cards. Not that it matters much for us, we don't even play any. The entire board is finally online. Everything is set up, everything is ready, and now all he has to do is starting attacking. We take another hint and bring Size Lizard up front. At this point, we already know they have another Dragapult EX ready, so yeah, this game is basically over, but we are still playing it out. We drop Latios right in front of their Latias EX just for the moment. Honestly, that matchup looks kinda clean, at least visually. We do attack now with our Size Lizard and we take out the Bearded. It's not a small win, but at least we get the prize cut. But because of that, the opponent draws 3 cards with Fisandibity. Monkey Dory is healing them up, Dragapult EX is still ready to go, and then it all comes down. Size Lizard gets knocked out. GG. But honestly, this is a perfect reality check. A full meta deck against our carefully assembled pile of cards that occasionally work together. Maybe in the future we can actually stand a chance against decks like this, but for that we need more wins. So let's win this battle. I have to keep myself motivated somehow after those last few losses. Yeah, I know most of you probably don't understand German, but I think everyone understood one thing. We get to go first again. Seriously, I didn't rig this. This has generally happened back to back the entire time. Now then, what's the best way to start? We got a few interesting cards in hand, but the one that immediately caught my attention was Buffalon. On the other hand, Comfey could help us to have a bunch of cards. Yeah, still I'm going with Buffalon. To be honest, we haven't really had the chance to see what this card can do yet. And if drawing cards becomes a problem, we still have Lucian. Although that requires careful consideration. Lucian is, have to put this, unpredictable. We play out the rest of our hand and our opponent is playing an Iono theme deck, I guess. I'll be honest, I know absolutely nothing about this deck, but let's stay positive. For our next turn, it's actually very tempting to combine Lucian with Deduction Kit. I mean, what else are we going to do? Our opponent only attached an energy so far. Oh, never mind, there's Pepper. Guys, I genuinely think we are going to need Lucian to bail us out here. Our hand is basically screaming for it. The opponent attacks. He wins the coin flip, so we take a little extra damage. But Buffalon handles that without any issues. Okay everyone, moment of truth. The card we draw is another energy, so naturally we are attaching it to Buffalon. Then we play Deduction Kit, and our next 3 cards, energy, energy, more energy. Honestly, we are keeping those. The order doesn't even matter, because this is it. All or nothing. Lucian, please be kind to me. I'm begging you. And... oh my god, Lucian! You actually helped me! For the first time ever! Seriously guys, this is massive! Not only did Lucian give us 6 fresh cards, he also cut the opponent all the way down to only 3 cards in hand. That is an absolutely game changer! And because Buffalon was finally able to attack, our counter effect is now active as well. The opponent decides to build up his spirit Pokemon and puts Iron Hands EX onto the bench. But surely he's not attacking with his... oh. He is attacking. And with that, he not only loses the coin flip, he also loses his Pokemon. Wow, we're actually ahead here. We take a prize card. Now, Iron Heads EX is the main thing standing in our way. But thanks to Ciano, we can search for the perfect answer. And I think you already know who it is. Size Lizard EX, my friends. We already have enough energy in hand to build it up. The only thing we need now is time. And honestly, I think Buffalo can't buy us exactly that. We attack once again and our counter effect is active for another turn. My goodness, our deck is on fire right now. The opponent doesn't have many cards left in hand. We have a Pokemon that punishes attacks, and Iron Hands EX needs a lot of energy before it becomes truly dangerous. Of course, things can change very quickly, but I'm happy to finally see this deck doing what it's supposed to do. And all of this started because we trusted the cards, especially Lucian. I never thought I'd say that. The opponent can't accomplish much during his turn, and that gives us even more time to prepare our ace Pokemon while Buffalo keeps applying pressure. Now he finally plays Professor's Research and escape with that his low hand count. But his biggest issue still remains. He needs energy, a lot of it. I know that our stadium cards makes basic Pokemon bulkier, but unfortunately that also helps his Pokemon. With Ultra Ball he finally finds his support engine, but honestly it arrives a little too late. Sizeless EX only needs one more energy and we are ready to go. Not only that, we still have Kyrian in hand, so we can switch Buffalo out, keep all of its energy attached and bring in our ace. How do I put this? We are unstoppable right now. Get it? Because Sizeless is basically a motorcycle. Okay, that one was terrible, sorry. Anyway, we play Kyrian. Buffalo, you were fantastic, but it's time to make room. There he is in all his glory. We'll even throw down our stadium card now, because why not? All that's left now is to attack. Go get him, Sizeless, full power! Thanks to Sizeless's amazing effect, we get to draw 5 cards. And that's not all. The knockout on Iron Hands EX give us 2 prize cards. At this point, all the opponent has left is a Miraidon EX, and right now it doesn't stand a chance against our ace. I do have to say though, I kinda like seeing Sizeless and Miraidon facing each other. Past versus future, even though, Sizeless is not really past, but it's the past of Miraidon because he's from the future. Okay, forget it. You get my drift. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. The opponent tries to rebuild with Miraidon EX, but the same issue from the beginning is still here. Energy. He's missing energy. But at this point, I think even he knows what's coming. And yep, that is the opponent concedes. What a victory! We level up and earn the privilege of opening 2 more booster packs to make this deck even stronger. I have to admit, this win was especially satisfying. But enough talking, let's see what new cards are waiting for us. We are jumping straight into Stellar Crown. But before we do, we still have to mention the info from our last match, Buffalo. Yeah, I can already hear some of you saying Lucian deserved that spot instead. And honestly, I get it. But Buffalo deserves some credit too. It put on a ton of pressure, drove out the match and helped us stay in control. Of course, if you disagree, let me know it in the comments. I'm actually curious to see who you would have picked. Now then, time to open some packs. Let's hope pack 1 treats us well. A quick lightning adjustment and our first card is unfortunately useless for us. Next up is Chakadet. Always nice to have another copy in that card pool. After that, Sizeless. Sadly not as powerful as our ace, but still another solid card to own. The next card doesn't do much for us either, but the one after that is actually a great pull. Gilead's Trumpet. That gives us another way to manage our energy card, so this one's definitely making it into the deck. But behind that fish, ladies and gentlemen, Lacey. Finally, this isn't just another draw supporter. Lacey can completely turn the game around when we are behind. But wait, we didn't just pull Lacey, we got Crispin too? Oh my god, that's even better. Crispin immediately takes the #1 spot as the best supporter in our deck. For Sizeless and the rest of the team, this is exactly what we have been looking for. Alright, that's pack 1 done. Can pack 2 give our deck another huge upgrade? As usual, the first few cards don't really help us. But hey, there's Oranguru again. I mentioned this before, but I'm starting to think Oranguru actually fits this deck pretty well. Its attack can help power up our Sizeless EX, so this time we are taking it. Another deduction kit, that's another nice pickup. Cyril H looks cool, but unfortunately doesn't help us. Neither does the next card, but wait, another Oranguru. Smilos, not for us. Tatsugiri EX. However, even though I got excited for a second, this card is completely useless for our deck. Too little HP, not enough damage, and with the upcoming Mega Meta, I just don't see this card keeping up. Anyway, the cards we pulled today are some massive upgrades for our deck, especially our new trainer cards Lacey and even more importantly Crispin. should make this challenge a whole lot easier from now on. But enough talking, let's head back to the deck workshop and take a closer look at our new additions. To be honest, not much has changed when it comes to our Pokemon lineup. Tatsugiri might become a lot more available now that we have more supporter cards in the deck than we did at the beginning of the challenge. On the other hand, Frostless is slowly starting to lose its place. I have a feeling we won't be keeping it around much longer. The Pokemon that finally made it into the deck is Oranguru. The reason we are bringing Oranguru is because of its first attack. If Oranguru attacks the opponent's current active Pokemon, gains a colorless weakness until the end of our next turn. Every colorless Pokemon we have deals double damage to the Pokemon. But the biggest winner is obviously Cyclizar EX. Instead of dealing 180 damage, it suddenly jumps all the way up to 360 damage. Now let's move on to our trainer cards because those received some serious upgrades. First up, Glastrumpet. As long as we have a Terra Pokemon in play and a colorless Pokemon, which is another reason Oranguru made it into the deck, we can attach discarded energy cards back onto our Pokemons. That's a really nice addition for this deck. The only downside is that we only have a single copy. Next up is our newest draw supporter, Lacy. I mentioned this earlier, but Lacy can easily become a game changer. Normally, Lacy let us shuffle our hand back into the deck and draw 4 cards. By itself, that's nothing too crazy. But once we lost enough prize cards, the second effect activates instead. And now we draw 8 cards instead of 4. That's absolutely insane. Now it's time for the best supporter in our entire deck, Crispin. Crispin lets us accelerate our energy attachments while also improving our setup. Again, it's a shame we only have 1 copy, but I'm still really happy we pulled it. As for Lucian, I'm honestly not sure anymore. We don't rely on him nearly as much as we used to. Still, having another draw supporter isn't a bad thing. And who knows, maybe he'll save us again. Completely ruin us. I didn't make any changes to the energy cards, so with that, the deck is ready. It's stronger than ever, which means it's finally time for our last battle. Win or lose, this will be our final match. Let's go!
Final round, fight!
For the first time in this video, our opening gets to go first. But honestly, with the hand we have, that's actually fantastic. We got our boy Crispin in hand, and not only that, we also have Ciano. Even Kyrian is incredibly useful here, because he let us switch our active Mewtwo later on. All we have to do is use Ciano to grab our ace Pokemon, powered up with Crispin as quickly as possible, and then use Kyrian to bring Cyclizar EX into the active spot. Our opponent starts with an interesting active Pokemon. It has some solid healing, a bit of draw support, and can chip away at us at the same time. And of course, no deck is complete without Munkidori showing up on the bench. Still, nothing too scary so far. Our turn, I say it's time to play Ciano right away. We search for our 2 Pokemon EX, put both of them onto the bench immediately, attach an energy to Cyclizar EX, and that's it. Step 1 is complete. As long as our opponent doesn't play Iono, we got the perfect game plan. Now let's see how our opponent responds. Apparently not much, just an energy attachment and an attack. And at least drawing 2 cards from the effect. Back to us, we draw Snorunt. Perfect, straight onto the bench I say. Alright, time for Crispin. We search our deck for a grass energy and a Psychic energy. Now pay close attention, this is where things get crazy. This Psychic energy gets attached to Cyclizar EX for free, and then we manually attach the grass energy we just searched for. Just like that, Cyclizar is fully powered up. That's what I'm talking about. We are more than ready. Back to our opponent. Oh, boss's orders on our Snorunt? I'm not sure that was the best play. I get it, because of the double damage potential. Still, this isn't enough to bring us to our knees. After the attack, it's our turn again. We draw Applin. Not bad at all. We gladly take that. Now it's time for the final step. We play Kyrian, switch Snorunt back out for Cyclizar EX, and just like that, boss's order was completely wasted. One more energy attachment, and it's finally time to attack. Of course, we can't forget Cyclizar's amazing effect. We draw 5 cards, and look at that, another Kyrian. We take our first prize card, and it's back to our opponent. Now Munkidori has to answer. Things are starting to look really rough for our opponent, but it's still too early to celebrate. A Jigglypuff joins the bench, then a Slowpoke. Wait, another boss's orders? This time our Mewtwo gets dragged forward. But here's what our opponent doesn't know. Cyclizar already drew us another Kyrian. This is going to be one nice surprise. Back to our turn, we draw an energy. Very nice. What should we play next? How about Enamorous? We also attach another energy to Flamigo EX, and now time for the surprise. We play Kyrian again. Of course, we are switching right back into Scyther EX. Missed him already?
Hello there.
Alright, time to attack. Should we use the second attack and knock out Monkey Dory while spreading damage to the bench? Oh, nah, we're going with Cyclone Road. Another annoying Pokemon is gone. Size Lizard draw us another 5 cards. We take another prize card. And we are so far ahead right now, all thanks to our trainer cards getting better and better. We even got our stadium card and Flapple waiting in hand. I honestly wonder if our opening can still turn this game around. Oh, there's the evolution. Jigglypuff becomes Wigglytuff. So I'm guessing that's the Ace Pokemon right there. With that special energy attached, every attack now puts 20 damage back onto us for each special energy. Still, it's missing one more energy before it becomes a real threat. After another special energy gets attached, it's our turn. Oh, another Flapple. Time to evolve, and while we at it, let's attach another energy to Flapple too. Then we play our stadium card, giving every basic Pokemon on the field more HP. Once again, Scyther attacks at full power. Let's go! As always, we draw 5 more cards thanks to Scyther's effect. This time we also take 40 damage ourselves. But thanks to our stadium, that really isn't a problem. With all the cards we have drawn, we got plenty of options if things suddenly go wrong. Back to our opponent, a third boss's orders. Snorunt gets dragged back into the active spot. This time the missing energy is finally attached. Snorunt gets knocked out and our opponent takes the prize card. But here's the thing. We are not answering with Scyther, we are answering with Flapple. Let's go! Our turn? Oh, another Snorunt. Even though I know you want revenge, I'm putting Oranguru onto the bench instead. Actually, you know what? If you get the chance, you have your revenge. Let's play Drayton while we are here. There's Lucian. We'll keep him. Maybe later we need to shuffle some cards back onto the deck. For our Pokemon, let's grab Buffalon. Perfect. Now we got a huge hand. One more energy goes onto Flamigo EX. So this is it. Time to take down the ace. Let's go, Flabble. Finish it. What a spectacle! Flapple takes down the strongest Pokemon on the field.
Ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for
Goodbye,
me.
Wigglytuff. We claim our world, earn a true prize card, and extend our lead even further. Not only that, we still got a lot of Pokemons ready to keep the pressure going. I don't think our opponent can recover from this, but will one last attempt be made? An energy gets attached and we won! We won, everybody! Yes! What a victory! Our deck actually managed to defeat another ace Pokemon. And just like every victory, we level up and earn 2 more booster packs. So before this video comes to an end, let's open them up and see which new cards will be joining us in the next episode. You already know it. And yeah, Flapple is our MVP for this match. I didn't want to give Scyther the MVP title again, so this time the spotlight goes to Flapple. I think it had an amazing performance, and honestly, I think we nailed the animation too. Alright, booster time. For the very last time, we are opening Stellar Crown and searching Sparks. Which cards will make our deck even stronger? I'm already excited to find out. And for the next episode, feel free to vote for the next expansion in the comments. Let's start with searching Sparks. With a little luck, we finally pull a real game changer. But for that, we... oh no, my coffee! Okay, sorry about that little interruption. Now that everything's cleaned up and the decorations are back where they belong, let's finally see our cards. We go through the first few pretty quickly. So far, I don't see anything that could help our deck. But wait, another copy of Drayton. Very nice. We always take cards like that. The next few cards are unfortunately useless, even if they are 2 little birdies. Sorry guys, you're not making it into the deck, mop birds. Then we get a pretty weak item card followed by a holo that doesn't help us either. Because of the coffee, I completely forgot to move the energy card out of the way. Well, at least we put another Drayton. On to the next pack. First card? Nope. Next card, Eplan. We're taking that one, right? Of course we are. Then we got another little birdie. Maybe it make an appearance in the next episode, who knows? Next up, Phalanx. Looking at it more closely, that's actually not a bad card. The following cards are a bit... meh. No useful Pokemon, no useful trainer cards. At least we got a bunny. And then a hit. I always get excited when we pull a hit, but as always, not every hit is actually a hit for our deck. Still, it happily joined my collection. And so I think we made our choices. Drayton from Searching Sparks, Applin from Stellar Crown, and you know what? I decided to bring Phalanx along as well. And with that, we reached the end of today's video. If you like to support the channel, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Until part 3, stay tuned and most importantly, stay healthy.